after the video yesterday, there were a lot of really interesting comments in the uh, in the comment section of the video. So I thought it might be good to kind of delve into some of the issues that were raised a little bit more. And so what I want to talk about today is narcissism. We touched on it in another video that I did, I don't know, a couple of months ago. But this one is going to be just about narcissism. And I think it is at the core of what a lot of the problems are that are going on in black male female relationships. These dudes are all narcissistic as hell. And they're, which narcissism is actually considered a mental illness. I mean, it's in the DSM as a personality disorder. So that means there's something wrong with you. That means you're fucked up in the head. That's what that means. And when you have widespread insanity in certain communities, and you have these dudes that are like, they have these messed up genes, right? And they breeding all in the same community. They have 15 babies by different women, and the women don't know each other. They don't know whose kids are whose and all this sort of stuff. There's a very high likelihood that your kids are gonna meet and date and may even have children together and never know that they were siblings, or at least steps or whatever. They'll have some kind of well, not steps, second, whatever. Not, they have some kind of bloodline, some blood tie, and it could be a very good reason why there's just so many disorders in the black communities. Dudes are just fucking it all up, literally and figuratively. So let's talk about this. Because, like I said, when you start analyzing all those different behaviors, it basically boiled down to there is moderate to severe narcissism in the black community. It's at a very, very high level. So, what do you want to say? What I'm looking at my notes because I told you my notes are horrible. Let me put them here so I can see them better. All right. What are the traits of a narcissist? You ladies gave some great examples of narcissistic behavior. I can't outdo your real life experiences. For anyone who's unsure, go and look at the video that was put up yesterday and scroll down those comments and look at what the women have to say, the experiences that they had. That real life testimony is better than any examples I could come up with. But basically, when you have someone who is narcissistic, they have an inflated sense of their own importance. They have a deep need for admiration and a lack of empathy for other people. Now, I'll give you examples of how the behavior is manifested. But the bottom line, though, when you consider all of that, how much they fluff themselves up and try to act like they're all superior and wonderful and everything, in reality, they don't like themselves very much. They need all this recognition and admiration and fluffing up and pumping up to feel like they're somebody and something important. And I think that's a key that you ladies aren't, so it's not really connecting with everybody. They don't get it. Why do you think all this patriarchal stuff about the Bible and how you need to submit to men and how you need to fluff men's egos up and how you need to talk to men and serve men plates and serve them first and do all this stuff? Where do you think that comes from? That comes from a narcissistic little fucked up mind. These guys really need you to make them feel like men. If you aren't doing all that kind of stuff for them, they just run around in circles. They feel lost. And like the guy in the video said, the guy was like devastated because he's thinking because he's going to work and do all this stuff for this woman that she should love him. In reality, she was like, nigga, that ain't shit. And so his ego, which was dependent upon her acknowledgement and recognition of him as breadwinner and big cheese in the house, once she yanked that rug out from under him, he realizes that he's nothing. Without her reflecting back on him, what his perceived greatness is, he felt like nothing, and so he ultimately killed himself. But that's what you should do when you don't feel like you're worth anything. That's your fault. That's nobody's fault but yours. So now let's move on because a lot of people don't understand, what narcissism is. And it's related to, I used to read a lot of Greek mythology when I was a kid. There was a god, he was the son of a god and a nymph, and I forget what the nymph's name was, and Cephalus or something like that. But anyway, he was their son. And Very good looking guy, strong, very arrogant. He was a hunter, as I recall. And so, he everywhere he went, maidens would be falling in love with him and everything, but he was just so arrogant and so full of himself. He just, broke hearts wherever he went. So there was another god named, oh shoot, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a term that we use a lot for people who get retribution. But I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, so this god got wind of what dude was doing, right? And had him go into the forest and look at his reflection in this little pond, this little pool. And he instantly fell in love with the reflection, not realizing that that's what that was. So he sat there just staring at it, staring at it, staring at it, and just in love with it until he realized that that reflection was of himself. It wasn't real. That's what he was in love with, though, his projection. And he ultimately killed himself right there by the pool because he just couldn't believe that, he would never get the love of this person that he was in love with. He would never get that love back, the love that he so desired. So, so anyway, so that's the definition of where narcissism comes from the little, half god Narcissus who died by the pool in love with his own reflection. So, like I said, the DSM, which is the American Psychiatric Association's kind of diagnostic tool, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. That's what DSM stands for. And in there, like I said, there is reference to personality disorders, of which the narcissistic personality disorder is one of them. I'll be going into the other three that are well, there's four that are like strongly identified amongst black males. I'll tell you about it, in the next video, and I'll start breaking those down for you so you can see we're not dealing with just your average, just knucklehead here. We are dealing with some people that have some seriously, they're mental. And I'm not joking. I'm talking about this from the American Psychiatric Association's definition of what narcissism is. These guys are mentally ill. Now I'll go along and I'm gonna give you some examples because I don't make a statement unless I back it up with some proof. All right. So now I made this note because I thought this was really interesting. They said the American Psychiatric Association estimates that there are approximately 1.5 million women with narcissistic personality disorder. While NPD is rare, non-clinical narcissism is a pervasive problem. In truth, we all have some of these traits. Okay. Because I recognize myself in some of them. It's perfectly normal to have some of these traits at the low end. However, further along the spectrum of narcissism, more problems are encountered. And that's when the men come in. See, so the women have it, but the low end, but the men have it at the high end. So these guys, to sum it up, and I'm going to go into detail and give you some examples. They list 9 points. He has a grand sense of self-importance. He exaggerates his talents and his achievements. Now that bragging. They're talking about what they did and who they know and all this old stuff. And they want to be accepted as being something superior and wonderful without doing any of the work. And this is something that I've talked about all the time, like the basic shit, the basic man, and how he wants to be recognized as being something superlative when he's just a basic little fuck. And that, you don't get rounds of applause for being basic. But that's how they are because they're a narcissist. They have fantasies of success and power and beauty or ideal love. We hear that all the time. Believe that they're special and unique and that they should only associate with other special or high status people. They require excessive admiration. They have a sense of entitlement. They're the exploiters of people and they take advantage of people. They lack empathy. They're envious and jealous of other people, and they're arrogant and haughty in their behavior and attitude. So, that's just some of them. But from reviewing the behaviors of the black males I've been interacting with, especially since I've been involved on YouTube, I came up with my own list. Those, that's the professional general list. I came up with some very specific stuff. Hold on, I have to sip more tea. Now I have to sip wine because y'all make me drink. All right, let's talk about how these dudes do in real life because like I said, that's the white folks little, DSM definition. We gonna get down to the real nitty gritty, how it's played out in the black community. Number one, they will monopolize conversations. Oh my God. Can black women talk about anything online without nignogs jumping in the conversation and trying to divert it over to something that they want to talk about? How many times have we seen this? And don't even try to go to a party or some kind of event like that. Basically, they're talking at you. They're not talking to you. There's no back and forth and even exchange of information. They just going on and on their little rant. It's like you could be in the next room. They don't even won't even notice that you're not there. They just talk. Basically, because they like to hear their own voice, and they get so unnerved when they come like on my wall on Facebook or here on YouTube, and I don't want to hear they shit. I like delete their comments and stuff, and then they get mad because you don't want to learn. You're just derailing the conversation. It's like delete. I'm like, see, commenting in my space is a fucking privilege that's not granted to everybody. It's not a right. You don't get to do it just because you want to. You get to do it because I say you can. Now, if you want to talk about somebody being narcissistic, then I'm a narcissist and I'm a bigger, better one than you. But it's like, you're not going to come here with that shit. We're not going to have it. So they get really upset at me because I shut them down. But that's what they do. They mean like it never freaking fails. We can't talk about nothing as women, especially if you make it about black women, but just women, period. Then here they come. As a man or as a black man, trying to interject themselves and act like they some great authority or some shit. Motherfucker, get out of here. Go sit down somewhere. And but don't so here they come, they're trying to correct you, right? And they want to dismiss your views and tell you why you shouldn't think like that, and you women are wrong, and it's not every man and stuff like that. Oh my God. Okay, so that's an example. I know all y'all can relate. That's just point one. Okay, and I'm already like knee deep in their ass. Okay, they interrupt. I call these the Mr. Interrupter. They don't take any interest in what you're talking about. Your words. I mean, I'm sure you've been on dates or in situations where you talking to your man and suddenly he just looks at you and then he's, yeah, well, blah, 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 blah. And he starts talking about something that don't have nothing to do with what you was talking about. And it's usually something back about his interest and everything. It's just like the example I just gave about how they do online. They just want to take over the conversation and nothing. They're not interested in hearing about your views, your thoughts, your feelings, your wants, your desires, nothing. They just want to talk about their perspective and what they want. And that is like a classic narcissist. Okay, but they will interrupt you, they talk over you, and they hit you with the yeah, but. So, it's just kind of pointless sometimes. You just feel like, I'm not even going to say anything because why should I? It's just wasting my breath. Okay, number three, they actually believe the rules were made for other people. These are the people that they want to violate every boundary possible, which I'll go into more in the next one. But they, speed in school zones. They do everything that they know that they're not supposed to do. Always like one toe up to the line and a lot of times crossing over as far as legal issues go, criminal activities, rudeness to people and mistreatment of people. They always just like, here's the line, and they right on the line, just right there, because they, believe that they're special and different and that exceptions should be made for them because all those rules only apply to other people. And they love to tell you about any situation where like they got off from a cop or, they got some special treatment at a restaurant or something like that. See, that shit like that makes them feel positively defined as a person. They just can't get enough of that kind of stuff. Okay, number four, they violate boundaries. I kind of alluded to that a second ago with words, with their behavior. Um, they totally disregard your feelings, your thoughts, your space, your property and possessions, your bodies. I mean, think about it. When we go places, walking up and down the street and be grabbing on your butt and stuff, getting all in your face, like the dude in the video yesterday. He upset because he interjected himself into a woman's space and she wasn't having it, and gave him the cold shoulder, and he's all mad talking about it later on the video how she didn't want to give him the time, nigga. I mean, really? And but this is how they do. They also will break promises. They'll promise you they're gonna do something, go somewhere with you, take you somewhere, pick something up, whatever they say they're gonna do, and then they don't do it, and they show no regret about it, no remorse. I know some of you remember the story I told you about the dude who's supposed to bring wine to dinner at my house, and he shows up empty-handed and just like walks through the door with a smirk on his face, like Well, I forgot. Like I'm supposed to be okay with that. Please, that motherfucker. He's probably still starving because he didn't eat at my house. And number five. Oh, I forgot. This is the other thing I wanted to take because they love to blame the victim. Okay, this is a big component of this boundary violation. They love to blame the victim. So they'll say stuff like, well, it's your fault that I forgot because you didn't remind me. What? Where they do that at? How does that work? Okay, what are you for? You know what I mean? That you looking for mommy to tell you what to do all the goddamn time? Psh, I'm just telling you. Okay, number five, they fluff up their image. They like to pretend like they more than what they got with some material goods, name dropping, talking about where they gone, designer labels, this kind of stuff. All this bling that they like to wear and all this stuff. And this, you see a lot of people like that. They live in the hood, they own Section 8, they get them projects, but their kids got designer shoes and they got designer bags. Even if they got them from the booster, they still got them. It's like don't spend money on dumb shit like that. You should be saving that money so you can put your kid through school or something. And I don't know, like I drive through the hood sometimes, I have these contracts and I'm working on one now and I part where it is in the hood. So I have to like drive through the hood and you see these nignogs living in substandard housing. It looks like some shit about to fall down, but in the driveway is a brand new car, a big old SUV, some, Lexus, all this kind of stuff. See, they put a lot of energy into looking good to try to impress people when they have no substance. There's no substance behind it. You're in debt behind a vehicle that you flossing, trying to date other people, think that you more than what you are. That makes no sense. Okay. Then, and I know, let me tell you about this example. I met this dude, right? Oof, my, just nice dark chocolate brother, just nice build, everything. Driving this black Lexus. It was very nice. I was like, okay, he seen and tells me we had a nice conversation. Okay, then I met a girl at the same party who knew him. She had dated a guy that was she said his roommate. I said, well, I heard another dude say that they were roommates. So that's three dudes. I mean, is this a 3-bedroom apartment, a house or something? She said, no, girl, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. They have bunk beds in there. These were men in their 30s living like that, like frat boys. That was it. I was done. And, he was trying to get my number and stuff. I'm like, no, I can't do it. So that's an example. Number six, they have a sense of entitlement. These are people that expect other people, usually women, to cater to their needs and give them preferential treatment like the world revolved around them. That example was given yesterday in the case of the guy who wanted the woman to give him the time of day, talking about that she had an attitude when he interrupted her while she was on the phone. It said in his mind, there was nothing wrong with that. She should have dropped her conversation and just, done what he wanted, which was for her to give him the time. And he got all kind of bent out of shape about it because she didn't do that. Number seven, they will charm the pants off of you. This is how a lot of women get caught up. You all get with these dudes and you think, that he's cool and all this old stuff. And I think that this ability to pretend to be what it is that you're looking for, to be nice, to be charming, is one of the reasons why there's so many single parent homes in the black community. Because y'all get caught up. Look at my hair sticking out all crazy. Y'all get caught up in the fantasy of who you think these guys are and the game that they're running on you. And you can't do that. You have to keep your head on straight. Try not to get caught up in the world when they're going to get you going in so that you're blinded by the dust and the wind and you don't see what's coming at you and what he really is. And so what they do then, see, they turn it around. Like I said, they don't have any empathy. So they set you up to be a single parent and then they turn to get online and then talk about, well, all you women are raising these kids in single parent home. Well, yeah, because you left, you dipped out. So what the fuck? I mean, you set it up that way. Now you want to bitch about it? I don't understand that, but that's what happens. All right. Number 8, they want to believe that you can't live without them. Okay, this is a big contributor to the murder suicides and how they want to kill women and stalk women and all the stuff that want to leave them. They're jealous and they're feeling very easily hurt and they want to lash out. So when you leave them, see, that shatters that image they have that you can't do without them and that they're like this omnipotent being in your life, and it just makes them feel like shit. It feels like nothing. So a lot, some of them will kill themselves. A lot of them, they want to kill you with them. They kill you first and then they kill themselves. Or they want to stalk you and harass you and beat you. I mean, all of this is about their ego and not getting that ego food from you anymore. When you pull back and you're not reflecting their grandiose image of who they like to believe that they are, they get very upset. Number 9, they love to spread negative emotions and hurt and psychic pain and emotional and verbal abuse. I kind of mushed it together. These are the guys who will get, so say a woman is, looking very nice and whatever, they're going to come in, they're going to talk about her age, the fact that she's still single or not, that she's fat, she's old, she's ugly, this and that. They're going to start hurling all these things that they think are going to hurt you, right? Or they talk about how black women are the most undesirable on the dating website. That, by the way, that was one dating website. And the survey was years ago, so, but they still talking about that tired shit. And, their goal is to make black women feel inferior, to make you feel worthless, to make you feel undesirable. They want to do that to you because that's how they boost their ego. By standing on your head, they lift themselves up. By sacrificing your self-esteem to them, they feel better because of their little ratchet ego. But these same dudes, when don't you criticize them or tell them anything about themselves, because then they'll practically be in fucking tears. Okay, number 10. They believe that you are an extension of them. I had never experienced this until I was on this radio show in Chicago talking about my book, The Black Church. And this guy called in, right? It was a live call-in radio show, talking about his wife was an extension of him and that if he wanted sex, she was supposed to give it to him, and that she had to look a certain way and only go a certain place and do certain things because she was an extension of him. And the host, who happened to be the wife of a pastor, and I both told him that his thinking was very faulty and that no woman is an extension of a man. And she is who she is. She's a separate being. But when you have somebody who's a narcissist, they don't see you as a separate individual from them. They see you as like, someone in their life to serve them, to do what they want them to you what they want you to do, to take care of and bring them joy and sex them down and feed them and basically meet whatever needs and fantasies of needs that they have. And they want you to do that because you feel obligated. And if you don't do it because you feel obligated, then they'll try to manipulate you into doing it with guilt. So that's when they start pulling out them Bible scriptures and all this old stuff, talking about, well, you women don't follow God. Motherfucker, you was fornicating just last night. Shut up. Who the hell you think you are, trying to pick and choose which part of the Bible you gonna live by? And I always want it to be some shit about you while they sit over there doing everything they want to do. A tea moment. All right. Number 11, they have zero empathy. Okay, a woman's talking about some mistreatment that she endured, how some dude molested her kid, how, something happened. Did she trusted him? She loved him. She don't understand what happened. Well, you picked him. Their classic line. No kind of understanding for the fact, no kind of direction or chastisement of the man for running game, for lying, for doing some criminal act, damaging a child, nothing. They never have anything to say about that. All it is, well, you picked him and so it's your fault. Okay, so don't ever, it's really sad if you have a man who maybe is even lightweight on the narcissism scale, but he does this kind of stuff. You have to understand, if you need some empathy and support, you're gonna have to get it from your other women, maybe your family members, something like that. He's not going to give it to you. And a guy who can give women empathy is very rare. A lot of them will fake it. They know how to play it off and do the words, but do they really feel it? No, they don't. Okay, they're very defensive. Okay, any word of correction from you or suggestion on how he can do better, be a better man, grow, change, improve himself, be the kind of man that women want. Because, I be telling them all the time, right? They accuse me of like, well, you're not trying to help the black male female relationship. So then I give them some stuff to help them. And do they utilize it? No. They just bitch and moan and complain about what I don't do instead of using the tools that I did give them. So, I'm done with that whole shit. Now I don't really give a fuck. You do all do what you want to do. And I'm going to just go back to concentrating on women. And, 'cause basically they refuse to take any feedback about their behavior. They just refuse to listen. So it makes it like, you just wasting your time. Your words are falling on deaf ears. It doesn't matter how much you love him. You want him to be a better man. You want to be, supportive and encouraging for him to be the best that he can be. But if he don't, think that he can do that or wants to do it, then you're just wasting your breath talking. Okay, number 13. I only got 17, so we're near the end here. They always need attention. They need affirmation. They need validation. They need admiration. Okay, attention, affirmation, validation, and admiration. How do they get those things? By you telling them how great they are, feeding them first, petting them up all the time, building up his ego, tell him he's wonderful, tell him he's a good man, all this old stuff. They need that, like in spades. And it's like, why do you guys, it's like they want to say to tell us that they're the leader and they're strong and all this stuff, but they need all this propping up and babying and fluffing. I mean, it's like, how does this work? I mean, how are you considering yourself to be the leader and the strength of anything when you feel like nothing unless some woman's constantly blowing your head up, filling your head up with smoky shit that makes you feel better? I mean, what? That's some weak bitch ass shit. Okay, number 14. You gotta always be right. They always know the most. They have to have the best and the latest and the greatest. Oh my God, these are the ones brag about what they got all the time, where they went, who they know, what they drive, how much money they make, what they toys are. It could be, golf clubs or fishing rods. I mean, whatever is the thing in his circle, he got to have the best, the latest, the greatest, and he gonna let everybody know because he gonna stand out there and talk loud as fuck to make sure everybody knows that he got this particular thing. And that's important to these kind of guys because, again, it's reinforcement and validation of this imaginary person that they like to think they are, right? Number 16. Oh, I'm sorry, 15. They focus on getting their own needs met, ignoring the needs of others in the household or the relationship. That is true. What they think, what they believe, I mean, a lot of them actually, what they believe, even though it's groundless, it has no factual basis to it whatsoever. In their mind, because they thought it, it's a fact. Have you ever noticed that? When they get online talking, or when you talking to a man, well, you say such and such and such, and then he'll say, oh, well, I thought it was this and that. And he had been spreading this thought as if that were reality that should never be challenged. And that shit is just amazing to me. I just be sitting there looking at them. You know how puppies turn their head to the side and be looking at you like that? That's how I be looking at them like, what? Okay. Number 16, they tend to be very aggressive and threatening to downright violent. We see this all the time. A class example was the guy who, when a woman left him just the other day, Cleveland, went around wanting to shoot up folks and kill people because the woman, his ex, the woman left him, and then he's trying to blame it on his mother, his mama, and this woman for why he's being violent. She don't have nothing to do. She didn't put the gun in your hand. She didn't give you no bullets. She didn't tell you to go out shoot people. She didn't drive you to shoot people. No, no, no. This was all your decision. This is what you decided to do. But to notice his response, it wasn't like he was crying or that he would, just go and slit his own wrist quietly in the corner. Oh no, he got to go be violent and aggressive and disgusting and hurt innocent people because he mad. And this happens all the time. And a lot of these dudes, like if a woman breaks up with him, or he feels like she's going to, he will kill her kids in front of her, or he will kill her in front of the kids. This is all some evil, twisted, fucked up thinking but it's all based on them being angry that she no longer reflects that image of himself as being wonderful and great and powerful. She took it away from him, and he is in a rage and striking out at anybody and anything that he can put his hands on. Classic narcissism. And then my very last one It's not really necessarily on the list, but just like an asterisk I put here to remind you, ladies, if you see these traits in a man and you think that you in a relationship with him, I want you to understand what time it is. It's time for you to get your shit and get the fuck out, because he doesn't love you. He can't love you. What he's loving is how you're treating him and what you're doing for his ego by, cooking for him and cleaning for him and building him up and pumping him up and fucking him and doing all the stuff that you do for him to make him feel better and make him feel like the big cheese. That's what he loves. And that's why a lot of you run around talking about, I have to do this for my man because, if I don't do it, he'll leave me. And this is how you keep a man, this is how you get him. See, you bought into the Kool-Aid that the narcissists have been feeding you to make you do what it is they want you to do. You bought into it. And I'm telling you, the second you stop and he's not getting that ego boost from you, that false sense of whatever it is he's looking for, they leave. And that's what you're so terrified of. You know that he doesn't really love you. You know it. You know it. And you pretend otherwise by doing all this slave shit to try to make him stay around. Is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just don't know why so many of you, put yourself in that position. You need to sign up for that self-esteem webinar next week. That's what you need to do, because we have some work to do. It's this stuff is serious. I mean, it's like when I look at how these guys have just messed up millions of women's minds with their neediness and their greediness, and you guys thinking that you have a prize man when what you really have is a mental patient. This is some sad and twisted stuff. There are ways, though, to treat narcissism. It requires professional assistance, which none of you, well, maybe not none, but most of you are not. You are not trained psychotherapists. You're not marriage and family counselors. You don't have an MFCC behind your name. You ain't no shrink. So you're not equipped to handle somebody like this with these mental illnesses. And you have to understand that you have a man like this, he can't love you because he doesn't love himself. He doesn't know what love is. He doesn't understand the sacrifice and the giving that's required to really love someone. And I don't mean like sacrificing, your life and pride and all that. I mean, there's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of compromise and adjustments, and it's not all about you all the time. And if you have a narcissist, they're not going to understand it, because in their world, it's always about them, always and singularly. So you're trying to get your needs met, and what you think, heard, and what you felt acknowledged is not going to happen. It's never going to happen, and you're going to constantly be frustrated and in a relationship with somebody that you don't feel really loved and cherished and all of that. You just feel like you're just there for convenience, and that's because you are. I'll be going into some more mental illness issues that we are facing as Black women, and in the next couple of videos. The chat tomorrow with Q takes place. You can find some information. I'll put some more information about it in the description of this video, as well as the one I did yesterday. And I hope to see some of you there. I will not put up a video tomorrow because I'll be doing that, and that will go up after the show. But we're dealing with some big problems here, ladies. This is a lot. Like I said, it's a lot deeper than what people really give credence to. We're dealing with some severe mental illnesses that's permeating the Black community. I am not sure really what to do about it, to fix it. I'll put my head to it eventually, but my job really is not to fix those things. It's merely to point out to you that these problems exist so that you can avoid them if at all possible. If you go into such a situation, I want you to go in fully aware of what you're dealing with, so you know how to protect yourself and protect your assets, protect your kids. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys later.